Everyone, welcome back to Advanced Exploration. This is part 3 with the SQL injection. In the previous two sessions, I think we covered the basic things about how does the SQL queries are formed on how it is written in the backend, which are susceptible to this SQL injection. How do we find out whether it's vulnerable to SQL injection, and how do we do probably do the authentication bypass and stuff like that. In this episode, we'll deep dive into this one and we'll try to learn about different terms or advanced queries that you can use when you find out something is vulnerable to SQL injection, and how do you. So, the attacker's goal with any vulnerability is the information, right? Gaining the information leakage. So, in this episode, we're gonna see how you can use different queries that so you can extract the data from the database and then use it for your advantage. Now the main thing I do want to point this out, like of course I'm not allowed to do this testing on any of the real websites, so I'm just going to use our intentionally vulnerable application which we have been using for past two episodes. So I'm just going to continue doing that to demo this particular thing. And the other thing as well, you should definitely know about the SQL map. So the SQL map is an automated SQL injection exploitation tool which uses these queries in the backend. So probably this will also give you an insight of how the SQL injection or SQL map tool actually runs. I have already demoed the SQL map tool and along with the burp extension, how you can easily configure within the burp and then use it directly from there. So if you haven't seen already, definitely go back and check it out. I'll also probably link that into the description below. Alright, so let's dive into this one. Let's see what the order by, union select, and information schema, tables, columns, all this terminology means, and how do we extract the data from the database. So this is our page which we used in the past for exploiting the SQL injection, and here once you provide the username and password, it will give you what's the username and password in the clear text, which is again itself a vulnerability because you should never store password in the clear text. But anyway, it gives you username, password, and signature. Now our goal. So previously we saw this is we get this error message when we insert like a single quote here, and then um, based on this, this is the query that it's using in the background. Okay, so instead of users, I think it's using the accounts table, but otherwise it's pretty much the same. Now and it generated the error message because we added this extra single quote here which messed up the syntax. Right now our goal is to extract the let's say data from this accounts table. So how do we, so first we need to determine how many columns do we have in these accounts, right? That's the first task, because instead otherwise there is no way for us to extract the information. So that's going to be our sort of like a information gathering phase. And for that we're going to use the order by statement, and order by is mostly used to I guess filter or line up the records or the results in either ascending descending order. So you provide default is ascending, you provide the column name and you can sort it out that way. Here we're gonna use the numbers, and the reason for that is we'll guess for example like accounts table, this one has 50 columns, and if our answer is true, it's gonna give you maybe some results, maybe nothing, and if it's false it should give us the error message, right? So how do we do that? So simply copy this, put in the order by, right? We need to close out the single quote. Let's say we type in any random username, so this will be this ends the statement. Then we have order by, then we put the hash, so all of this is commented out. So let's copy this and paste it here. We got the error and it says unknown column 50 in order clause. So that means we were not close to our we did not guess the right number of columns. And this is again goes by guessing, so you would think like, okay, how long is it gonna take, because you don't know the number. So how typically I go about is I would reduce 50 from 25 and see if still there is an error. I go 50%, half, maybe 12, 10, and then see if the error is. So slowly and gradually we limit our number of efforts, and SQL Map does it automatically for you, but just in case SQL Map doesn't work out, you can also try this manually. Simply you can also directly manipulate here. So instead of 2050, I'll just do 25 here, and it still gives me the error. Here you would notice percentage 23, which is the hash sign to comment out the rest of the query. You cannot directly push the hash here if you do. So let's try it out. You're not gonna see anything because you have to URL encode it, and I actually have a session coming up next week about the encoding, so make sure you see that one. That will make it much more clear. So let's reduce from 25 to maybe 10. Okay, we are still getting error. Let's do 5. We are not getting error, so 5 might be the right number. Let's try 6. Okay, so there are 6 valid columns. Okay, 7 is still valid. 8 is invalid, so that means we have 7 columns in this table. Now what I'm gonna do is the next thing, once we find out the number of columns, we're gonna use that column to extract the information, and for that we're gonna use the union select. And as the name suggests, it's used to merge 2 queries. So in one statement you can have, like, 2 queries, and it will give you the results for both. So here we're gonna consider this as a one query. Select star from accounts where username is this, and then I'm selected, creating a new query where I'm saying union and append the results of select column 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then of course our hash, right? So this way we would know, actually let me just put it here, right? And so the goal of this one is, I'll show you in just a second. So here you can see when we had the right information, we were getting 3 columns printed out here, right? Result from the 3 columns, and we are just printing this number, so I know where to put our stuff or query to extract the data. So we are getting the information at least visible from column 2 3 and 4. So what I'm gonna do is, in 2 I'm gonna replace with the version. So this is built-in syntax. It's gonna give me the database version. There is database I can try, and same way I'm gonna try the user. As you can see, I already only replaced with 2 3 and 4. I'm not touching 5 6 7 because anyway if it even gives me the data, I'm not gonna be able to see it. So that's why I only replaced 2 3 and 4. And here we can see this is the version, this is the database, and this is the user that's logged into this database. So now let's try a bit more advanced. Now we want to check all the table names that belongs in this information schema. And information schema is, I guess I would describe it as superset of everything. So it has all the information of underlying database with all the tables, all the columns, everything. So if you can get that information, that means you have everything. So here what I'm gonna do is, instead of number 2 I'm gonna print all the table names, then 3, then 4 3 5 6 7, already we have it. And here I need to specify from where I want to get it, right? So here I'm gonna say information schema dot tables. Okay, and then we already have hash. Okay, so let's see. Okay, looks like I messed something up. Union select one table names 3 4 5 6 7 from information underscore schema dot tables. I think it looks correct to me. Oh, there is not. Okay, so this is just a table name. I see. Okay, so now we can see we have list of tables here, and as you can see there are 654 tables we found. Now it's impossible for us as a human to go through each table and extract the columns and information. So for example, let's say we want to extract the columns from this table, right? Triggers. So how we're gonna do it is, instead of table name, I'm gonna say column name, then keep everything as the same. Here instead of tables, I'm gonna say columns and then where table schema is equal to triggers, right? We have to specify which table we want to get the information from. And if I enter, of course we don't have any data in here, that's why it's not giving us the information. But anyway, you get the point. So right, so same way you can try it out for, like, you can go back to yeah, this table names and see which ones are interesting, and then you can try to get the dump from that table. In the real world you might not see all this information that easily. You may have to try, like, you know, blind SQL injection, where you have to use like time query. See if this is true. It waits for like 15 seconds to come back, versus false, it gives you the result right away. So that way you have to determine. It might not be this simple. Of course the password no one keeps in the clear text in this world. If they do, that's a really big risk. So look out for those sort of information. So the goal, and one thing I would definitely ask you to try is try it out, like there has to be a table named accounts somewhere here. It's okay, so we have accounts table here. So your goal is, or your exercise is, you want to get the column names of this table, and then you also want to extract what information in those columns are. So for example, just like maybe it has username and password, so how many usernames are there in that column? So once you figure that out, let me know, and put in the comment section. Help other people as well to understand, read through and understand like how does SQL injection actually works. This will be a really good exercise for all of you who are just starting with the cybersecurity field, or get to know what the SQL injection is. Let me know if you have any other questions, comments, anything that you need my help with, or you want me to focus on. I'll definitely try to do that. But yeah, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.